Power BI Publisher for Excel is an add-in which allows you to take snapshots of Excel pivot tables, charts, and cell ranges and pin them to existing or new Power BI dashboards. Although these pin snapshots are basically just static images, they can be easily updated to keep their content fresh and relevant. One of the problem areas with using Excel for reporting purposes has always been the difficulty of sharing reports with others. As we'll see later on in this module, combining Power BI Publisher with the dashboard subscription feature available in the Power BI service is a great way of overcoming this limitation and sharing Excel content throughout an organization and keeping that shared content constantly updated. To get started using Power BI Publisher for Excel, you'll need to download the add-in. Simply do a search in your favorite search engine for Download Power BI Publisher for Excel, and you'll find the official Microsoft download page. When you click on Download, simply choose either 32-bit or 64-bit, and this of course needs to match the version of Excel that you're running on your machine. If you're not sure which version you're running, just launch Excel, click on File and go into Account, and then click on the About Excel button. And here at the top you'll either see 32-bit or 64-bit. And that's the version of the add-in that you'll need to download. So I'm running 64-bit. We click on Next. And then download the MSI install file. Then we double-click the installer. And of course, at this point, if you are running Excel, you'll need to quit Microsoft Excel and then just go through the install wizard. Accept the license terms and install. When the installation is finished, you've got the useful option to launch Excel and click on the Finish button. And now you'll find that you have a new tab on your ribbon. And you'll also get a little notification just telling you about the great features available with this add-in. So we can click on Don't Show Me This Again and close. And when we click on Power BI, we now have a series of new features available for use. Before you can use any of the facilities offered by Power BI Publisher, you need to sign in to your Power BI tenant. And this sign-in is different to your Excel sign-in. Your Excel sign-in is simply part of your Office 365 Excel licensing. Here, we want to connect to a specific Power BI tenant. And it is possible that your Excel subscription is part of exactly the same tenant as your Power BI subscription, but it's not necessarily the case. So to sign into a Power BI tenant, click on the Power BI tab, and then click the Profile button. And simply click on Sign In, enter your username and password, and you're good to go. And the first thing you can do with Power BI Publisher is to pin content. So let's find ourselves some basic content. In the Exercises folder, in 03, Power BI Service from Excel, let's open up Visitors 2019. And basically, we can pin any Excel content onto a dashboard. So we click on the Power BI tab, highlight the content to be pinned, and click on Pin. And I'll just pin this to a new dashboard in my workspace, and let's call it Visitors. And we get an option to view. And here it looks as though I'll need to refresh. And here's the pinned item. And now let's pin a chart. So this time we're choosing an existing dashboard, and visitors is automatically selected, so that's fine. And again we'll view in Power BI. And again my browser fails to display it, so we'll just refresh. So here are the two items on the dashboard, and I can obviously resize and reposition them as necessary. Make any necessary changes to things like the titles. But these items are now part of my Power BI infrastructure. Now naturally I can't interact with them in any way. There's no text here. These are purely images, static images, taken at a given point in time. And it's up to the owner of this content to constantly refresh the dashboard. Although not specifically designed for Excel content, Power BI's dashboard subscription facility provides a great mechanism for sharing Excel content on a regular schedule. You can subscribe yourself and your colleagues to dashboards, and they'll receive a regular snapshot of the dashboard straight into their inbox. When you create a dashboard subscription, you can set up a daily, weekly, hourly or monthly schedule to determine how frequently an email will be sent out to subscribers. And all you have to do is to use the pin manager to regularly update the content that you've pinned to the dashboard. Let's see how this works. So here's the dashboard that we created in an earlier video and to which we've pinned a couple of items from Excel. To create a subscription, you simply click on the subscribe button. And you may just see this error message. And what it means basically is that the content that you have on the dashboard is purely Excel content. And in order to subscribe a dashboard, you have to have at least one element pinned from a report. So the fix for that is quite easy. We simply pin an item such as a logo from a report, and then we'll be good to go. So let's switch across to a report in which I know that we've got a logo. And let's pin the logo to our visitor's dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard. And here's our logo. Let's just move it right up to the top. And now if you click on subscribe, and we can accept the default name or enter a new one. And by default, my own email is automatically entered. To add a colleague, I simply start typing a name and then click on the name that pops up. Then I can type a subject, let's say visitor numbers, and an optional message, and then I can specify the frequency. So after data refresh wouldn't really apply with Excel because we're manually pinning the data to the dashboard. So we can leave it on daily and then just specify the time of day that we would like it to go out. And when we would like this to start happening. And finally we have an option to provide a link to the dashboard. So we click on Save and Close, and our subscription is set. And here's an example of what the message will actually look like. So this snapshot will arrive in the person's inbox with the frequency that you specify. So an excellent way of distributing Excel content to your colleagues on a regular schedule. Once you've pinned a few items from Excel into the Power BI service, you can track your pinning activities using the Pin Manager. So in the Power BI tab, in the Pin group, click on Pin Manager, and all the items that you've pinned are listed. When you click on an item in the list, wherever it happens to be in the Excel workbook, it will be highlighted. Which is a fairly convenient feature. And the same navigation facility is provided to access content in the Power BI service itself. So I can simply click on an item and it will take me to the dashboard on which that item has been pinned. And you may need to refresh your browser before you see the content. If items become obsolete and should no longer be available, then you can simply click on an item and click Remove. And similarly, when you modify items, you have the Update button to update the changes that you've made and synchronize the version that you've pinned to a dashboard with the current version in Excel. So let's have a look at that feature. And let's simply make a couple of cosmetic changes to the two items that we've pinned. So for the pivot table, let's go into Pivot Table Tools Design and choose a new design. And then we'll do the same for the chart. And now let's update our pin versions. So we click on Pin Manager, highlight each item, and click on Update. So the two items are now in sync, and if we return to the Power BI service, refresh our browser, then we can see that our changes have now been synchronized with the version in the Power BI service.